Hi there, welcome to 3Spoonies. We are your hosts, Claire, Karen and Joe. This is episode 8, where we are discussing events and expos. Join us as we dive in.
Snoap is transforming personal care with its groundbreaking solid soap and shampoo dispenser, a distinctive gadget that holds 2 bars and converts them into a fine powder for peak effectiveness. Capable of delivering over 2,000 hand washes, 333 showers, or 666 hair washes, these bars are not only cruelty-free, with most options being vegan, but also completely free of single-use plastic. Snoap excels in caring for both your skin and hair while being considerate of the planet and your finances. An exciting opportunity awaits our listeners today. The kind lady Snoap has blessed us with a special discount code, Spoonies Love Snoap, offering an additional 50% off your order. Isn't that fantastic? Visit www.snoap.com now to make your purchase and enjoy this wonderful promotion.
I'm Claire from Sparkle's Gift Boutique.
I'm Karen from Pony.
And I'm Joe from Bright Cat Business Solutions.
And we are 3Spoonies navigating our way through life and business with not enough spoons. Today we have our fabulous guest, Rachael Chiverton, who is here for our topic of events and expos because it's her passion project and she is so good at what she does.
Yeah, first question, nice, easy one. Don't be concerned. Tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
So I'm Rachael Chiverton. I'm the Focus Guru, and I run networking events. I run an expo once a year, and I help people with time management. Thanks, Karen.
Thank you very much, and thank you for joining us today. So we're going to specifically be focusing on events and expos. So when people say expos, what does that mean?
Expos are any chance you get to bring people into a room to see what you do is effectively an expo. They don't have to be big, they don't have to be small. It is you showing yourself off to the world.
Oh, I like that definition. That's a happy thing. So you've done quite a few of these before. Do you find when people are first doing an expo, is there something people tend to forget or not think of?
The thing most people don't think of is catering for everybody. So things like my expos, I always have a quiet area, somewhere away from all the stands and the speakers, so people, if they're getting overwhelmed, have somewhere to go and sit. A lot of the big expos don't have that. The other thing you need to remember is not everyone's comfy with talking to people. So make sure that each area is clearly signposted on walls and that your programmers are in multiple rooms. So if someone wants to know what time a specific speaker is on, they don't have to naturally ask an organizer. They can find that out for themselves.
Those are very good points. Absolutely, yeah. If you were attending an expo, what sort of things could you do to accommodate other people?
So if you're attending an expo, I would absolutely say make sure that you contact the organisers, especially if you're paying to get in. If you need a support worker, contact the organisers and find out if they can get in for free. That's the very first thing. So don't just presume because you have to pay, they would have to as well. Yeah, they may or they may not. If you have any questions at all, do speak to the organisers before the event. Most of them will give you multiple ways to contact them: WhatsApp, email, phone call. You do whatever's comfortable for you, but make sure if you've got any questions, ask. Make sure you research the venue. So do you know, is there a car park at the venue? Or is there a little bit of walk between the car park and the venue? Do as much research as you can about the actual day. But do remember that when you're putting on an expo, the organisers have to be flexible. Because if the weather suddenly turns bad, You don't want people who have an hour and a half drive to be sitting there waiting for the last speaker of the day because you said that speaker was coming on at 4:30. So expect things to change, move up. One of the things that I think I forgot in the first bit when you said, what don't people think about, is space around the stands. Some people in a wheelchair. Can people in wheelchairs get to their stand easily? Is there space around their stand to let them move in and out? So also, if you're attending, have a look at the venue. If you do have any needs, do your research beforehand, just by looking at the website or review sites and finding out what accessibility there is. And the other thing I would say for attending is make sure you know if there's food available. Don't just presume there is, and don't just presume it'll be edible. Yes, I have done some expos where it wasn't.
As someone who used to be allergic to onions, I'm feeling that in quite a profound way.
Yes, no, I'm allergic to onions, and no, I'm not. I'm allergic to garlic and fish. Now, the fish isn't normally not a problem, but the garlic can be.
Yeah, I very much can relate. That is one of those things people don't necessarily think about, but also one of those things you are very aware of if that is your dietary needs.
Yeah, and the key thing for anyone to remember is the organisers want you to get the most out the day. They want you to get the best out the day, and they want the most people there they can get. So they will, no question is a dumb question. No question is a stupid question, because you don't know what you don't know. Just because they've organised 5, 10, 1,500 expos doesn't mean that you've attended that many. So always ask the question if you have a question.
Goes to life, business, and everything else.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It is time for Spoons Full of Loveliness, loads of great things from our sponsors.
You will feel like the business world just isn't built for your unique brain. You're not alone. Millions of neurodivergent entrepreneurs struggle to find the connections and support they need to thrive. That's where the Neuro Network comes in. By building a community of neurodivergent business owners built on unmasked connections, fostering genuine collaboration, you can forget forced networking and awkward small talk. Embrace your authentic self, because great minds don't think alike, and that's what makes them great. Join exciting events, workshops, and online forums. Find your tribe, share your ideas, and take your business to the next level. Find them on Instagram at neuro_networking and unleash your full potential. Sarah Lou Crafts is the home of beautifully handcrafted notebook journals and slow fashion crochet gifts for all occasions. Adventure accessories for outdoor and nature enthusiasts looking for fun and functional, pretty and practical products to keep you warm and comfortable hiking on the hills or walking in the woods. Also, a range of gifts and home decor for people who are seeking a more eco-friendly lifestyle made from natural and sustainable fibers like raffia, British wool, cotton, and recycled polyester yarns. Whether you're looking for a stunning notebook to inspire your writing, record your amazing adventures, or journal your thoughts, or a heartfelt crochet gift as a treat for yourself or family and friends, Sarah Lou Crafts is a place for eco-conscious handmade treasures from Wales, UK.
So we are back in the room. So time for some more probing questions. Whew, dear me. So if you're exhibiting at an event, is it okay to make requests that wouldn't cost any extra? So for instance, not I want to stand on a corner necessarily, that would be paid more for, but is it reasonable to say, could I be near a window because I need natural daylight, or things like that?
It's reasonable to make the request. Whether it can be actioned at every expo will depend on the room, the layout, the number of exhibitors. Some expos will provide you with a table and chairs. Some expos will provide you only with a table. Some expos will charge you more for electric, some won't. So when you're planning your stand, have a think about it. And if you do, say, need electric, put the request in. It might be that it can be achieved, it might be that it can't be, but any decent organiser will always try and accommodate. So, and again, they won't know what your specific need is unless you tell them.
Yeah, 100%. They've not worked with you before necessarily. And even if they have, your situation may have changed.
Exactly. So, yeah, so by all means, make the requests, absolutely.
Perfect. So if I'm planning my stand in my head, how far in advance should I have all the things in place, do you think?
So my absolute top tip for this would be, I would make sure you've got them all delivered by at least a month before. Because there is nothing like panicking the week before an expo going, my delivery's not here, I can't do it. Because you're just generating yourself more stress. So minimum of a month. Ideally, if you've got like the space for it, I would say 2 months. Because it also depends what you're going to have on your stand. So, for example, my expo, every attendee gets an attendee bag that my sponsors get to put one thing in the bag. So I need everything from my sponsors here, because myself and 2 friends literally go round, pick one up of everything and put them in each individual bag. So if you are going to have a bag with things in it, you need time to pack your bags.
That is very true. Yeah, I'm feeling sort of the knock-on effect of people leaving it to the last minute or trying to get things delivered to venues, and it's suboptimal, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing to think about when you are thinking about your stand, we all love a good roller banner. We all love a great roller banner. However, if you've got a table, the chances are the bottom half of your roller banner is going to be behind the table. So on roller banners, contact information should always be at the top, not at the bottom.
That's a very good point, actually. That is definitely worth considering. And in terms of the table layout, if you know exactly the size of the table, is it worth having a sort of mock-up to see how it looks and things like that before?
It's always sensible, as with anything, to practice and prepare, but also think about people that are attending. So you know what you're selling or what you're promoting, but they won't necessarily. So when you do your mock-up, if you think, oh yeah, that looks great. So for example, Karen, if you just had a table full of unicorns, and I walked up to the expo and I would be like, so she sells unicorns then?
Fair point.
So always look at it.
Stand. Yeah, it's confusing.
And if you can afford to get one, I highly suggest getting a table runner. Because that way you mark your table out as different to every other table that the venue's provided.
I do like a good table runner, they look really nice.
Yeah, I think sometimes signage and things can be a little smaller, and especially if someone's looking for something specific, if people can see from a distance, yeah, I'd agree. It's so helpful.
Yeah, and for those people who don't know what a table runner is, because I've just realised we've used in jargon that everyone might not know. So a table runner is kind of a bit like a branded tablecloth, but it also comes over the front of your stand. So it doesn't just sit on the table, it comes over the front as well.
It's like one of those silly ribbons on wedding chairs, but it has a purpose.
Yes.
Sorry, it's fine if you had them at your wedding. They can be absolutely lovely. I apologise for upsetting the ribbon community of the world. I didn't intend to. Those are my own views and not those of this podcast, I'd like to make clear. So, moving swiftly on, what would you suggest to people if your energy level's flagging partway through the day and you can feel yourself maybe nodding off a little bit?
I would say do whatever makes you comfortable. Because you've paid for the full day. If you think about it, if your energy levels are drooping, you're probably not going to be enjoying it. You're probably not going to be getting value out of the day. And you're probably not really going to remember what happened afterwards. So either take yourself to a quiet room, if there is one provided, go for a walk, get yourself out there, go and get some fresh air. That normally rejuvenates energy. If there's something that you would normally do, I mean, if you normally, say an expo's 10 till 4, and you can normally do 10 till 12, and then you have an hour's sleep, and then you can do 1 till 3. Go for that hour's sleep. Go and have a sleep in your car. You don't have to be there 100% of the time.
Take a friend and make them understand.
Sorry, what was that, Joe?
Take a friend and make them not understand while you're snoozing.
Or buddy up with the person next to you.
Next to you, yes. Yeah, I mean, ideally, if you can have 2 or 3 people on your stand, that's perfect. 3 is actually the perfect number. Because 3 means 1 can be having a break, 1 can be engaged in an attendee, and 1 can be looking excited, interesting, and talking to people walking past. If you are exhibiting, though, please, there is nothing worse than having exhibitors eating at their stand, unless you absolutely have to because of mobility reasons. Because you've paid this money to have this stand, you've got your nice shiny branded table runner, you've done your preparation, you know how things are going to look on your table. And then you sit down, you eat a crisp or a sandwich, and then suddenly you've got breadcrumbs on the bits for people to take away. And, you know, if you have a drink, put it on the floor, don't leave it on your table, because if someone knocks into your table, it's going to spill. And so, yeah, just think, it used to be as well at expos, don't be on your mobile phones. Now, yeah, with the social media, people now take notes, you know, mobile phones are absolutely brilliant. But especially if you have a stand, if you're there like this, or you've got power because you wanted your laptop, but if you sit behind your stand on your laptop, you're not approachable. People don't make the effort to disengage you and find your eye contact. You have to find theirs.
Mm-hmm. If you are going to an expo, either attending or exhibiting, is it worth making yourself some goals for the day?
Absolutely. You either running, attending or exhibiting, you need to know what your return on investment is, your ROI. It could be monetary, but it is, I would say, uncommon to actually make a sale at an expo. At an expo, you are there for raising awareness. You are there for building connections. But whatever your ROI is, know what it is in your head. Know your value, your worth, and why you're there. You know, is it because there is one speaker who you think they're going to change my world? If it is, then it's fine to just go along for that one speaker and then come out again. You don't have to go all day because one person you want to see. The chances are, if you're there for a bit longer, speakers hang around throughout the day, so you might have chance of a one-on-one conversation, but there's no guarantee. So, yeah, absolutely, you need to know what you want to get out of it, and also know why you're going, especially if you're well, both attending and exhibiting. Attending, are you going to? You could even go and attend local ones to suss out who your competition are.
Like that, I've never thought of that.
Yeah, I've never thought of that, but that is really good.
Yeah, and also, so I go to quite a few of the local expos that are run by other companies, and I turned up at one last year that was on before my expo, and I know the organisers because I've been doing them for years on other stands, and he just turned around and said, why didn't you tell us about our expo? We'd have promoted it for you, and we'd have given you a free stand here to promote it if you give us a free stand at your expo. So just because someone is doing the same thing, don't think they don't want to help you. Have a conversation with them. The worst thing they're going to say is no. But what are you missing out on by not having that conversation?
That's true. Would you recommend sort of going through the programs or guides in advance and having a bit of a hit list of things to do or people to speak to?
Yes and no. It depends. A lot of the time, the programs won't be fully online first. Part of the reason for that is the organisers kind of working to not stop you, but to kind of prevent that. I only want to see Joe's talk, so I'll rock up 5 minutes before Joe's talk and I'll leave 5 minutes after.
Yeah, understood. Yeah.
But what there should be is a list of exhibitors and who the speakers are. So you could do, I mean, if it's a decent expo, the exhibitors, there should really be a link to their website. So you can go and do your research on who's exhibiting and decide, I want to speak to them. But you have to be flexible, because you might go through it and think, oh yeah, I want sparkles, I want bright cat, and I want unicorn. But then when you get there on the day, it's like, squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. And then you only get to speak to unicorn and cat. Because you just never made it sparkles. So, and if that is the case, don't worry. Just send sparkles, and most people on their website will have contact me for. If you do miss out on going to see an exhibitor, jump on the website, fill out the contact form and say, really sorry, I meant to come to your stand at this expo, just didn't quite manage to get there. Can we have a call? Who exhibiting is going to say no? No, sorry, I don't want to talk to you. It's not going to happen.
That is a very valid point, actually. I think there's a lot of value in following up afterwards, even if you did speak to people, because sometimes you're so busy during the day. I mean, I know just after an expo, I am good for nothing for a while.
Yeah.
So what's the best time to follow up after an expo, do you think?
Ideally within 24 hours. Definitely no longer than a week. Why do I say ideally within 24 hours? Because within 24 hours, if you think about it, as soon as an attendee leaves that expo, they're going to be looking at the phone, they're going to be checking their aunt's phone, they're going to be checking social media. The kid might have said, I don't know, after school clubs cancel, can you come and pick me up now? Life happens. And when life happens, do you remember all those conversations you had at 8 o'clock this morning?
You.
The sooner you can remind them of who you are, the conversation you had, the sooner, the more remembered you'll be. And if you can personalise it, I'm absolutely always with notebook and pen, always. And if someone comes up to me at an expo and we have a conversation, one of the very first things I do to anyone I don't know is I will always ask them the question, do you have any pets? Because I'm a massive dog lover. And then we'll get chatting about pets before we move on to whatever the topic is. But that means I can make a note of that pet's name. And then when I do the follow-up, it was lovely to meet you yesterday. I hope Leo managed okay without you at home for the whole day when you were at the expo. How much more personalised is that than, hi, I met you yesterday?
Yeah.
To make it really, yes, it takes you a little while longer, but it's also more fun. Because you're not writing a generic email to go out to everyone. And it's more, and also as you're personalising them, I mean, the general body can sort of be the same, but the intro and outro, slightly different. And you'll probably, well, I find I do, is I sit there and I smirk. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that conversation. Yeah, and then like everyone, then you just giggle, and then you're like, oh, I'm happy to be sending this email. So it's not a chore.
Yeah, definitely that. And when you can make any real connection with people, it's so much more valuable than saying, oh, yeah, I was the person in the blue top, or
Yes.
The person with the purple postbox.
yeah, that worked though.
That did work. It definitely worked.
Yeah.
Are there any questions you wish that people asked, but they don't?
I think the food is a big one.
Mm.
People seem to presume that every event will have food, which isn't always the case.
Mm.
And the other thing is, in thinking about organising it, I would love people to ask me questions because it gives me guidance on what I can improve on, what I haven't put out there, what I don't know I've not told people. Because, as I said earlier, you don't know what you don't know, but sometimes you don't know what you do know. Because it's so obvious to you because you've always done it, you think, oh, everyone knows that. So things like making it dead easy at the venue. This was a change I did last year, actually, to make it more inclusive. I borrowed an A-board frame from a local pub and got a sign on both sides of the A-board frame to put on the pavement outside the venue so that when attendees arrived, they knew they were certain they were in the right place.
Mm.
So it stopped that hesitation of, do I walk in, don't I walk in, am I right, am I wrong? So if there's anything like that, contact the organisers and say, would it be obvious where I go in? One thing I don't like about the bigger expos is when they're at places like football clubs and you park in East Car Park and then you have to walk to, I don't know, the John Leonard wing to find the expo. Yeah. I mean, where's the John Leonard wing?
Yeah, there is nothing worse than attending an expo and having to be like, right, I'm at the venue, but where do I go now?
Yeah.
That is quite frustrating.
Yeah. And it's something that's so easily rectified. If there is something that could be improved, tell them, whether it's an exhibitor, an attendee, or an organizer, let them know. They would appreciate the feedback.
Mm.
And in a way, any question you ask is feedback. Because it's feeding back what the exhibitor or whoever it is already thinks you know, but they haven't made clear because you don't do this regularly.
Yeah, that's a really good point. If 10 people have asked the same question, it's like maybe make the sign a bit bigger or something for next time. Yeah.
Yeah. And the organisers, it should be fairly obvious who the organisers are or the stewards on the day or what have you. They're people. They will understand if you've got a question, no matter what the question is. And if you're not confident speaking to strangers, type it on your phone and show them your screen.
Mm.
You know, questions don't have to be verbal. If you're uncomfy with talking to strangers, find another way around it. Maybe tap them on the arm and just show them your phone. Having pre-typed the question.
I like that. It's a good idea.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I suppose as
Yeah.
well, because you were saying earlier about having like certain expos you can have like a support person with you. That would be if you know that you're going to be a bit anxious about an event and having that communication with people, that's they can be there for that as well.
Yeah.
Kind of field those questions.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays, almost every venue should be wheelchair accessible. It should allow assistance dogs in. But if you're not sure, either contact the venue and ask them, or contact the organisers. It's completely up to you, but both will be able to answer your question.
Absolutely. So finishing up, could you give us one top tip for exhibitors and one top tip for visitors?
One top tip for exhibitors, be engaging. And honestly, please don't start a conversation with an attendee by, how's your expo going today? Because most of the time you'll get fine. And then you're like, well, what was the point of me being here? So find an engaging conversation to have with attendees. Top tip for attendees, don't feel you need to be there for the whole day. If you've gone and you've got that return on investment that you wanted to have, just because it's in your diary from 10 till 4, doesn't mean you have to physically be in the building from 10 till 4. It is okay to leave. Organisers will hate me saying that, but it is okay to leave.
But then they might close it early so the exhibitors can leave too.
Yeah. But yeah, as an exhibitor, unless you are told by the organisers to take your stand down early, don't. It's like that ladder knock-on effect.
Mm.
If one stand starts breaking down at say 2:30 and they're supposed to be up till 4, the next one will start breaking down about 2:45, the next one, and so by the time 4 o'clock comes and you've got those attendees who just come for the last half an hour, there's nothing for them to say.
Mm. Yeah, and also bear in mind, if you're exhibiting, that end bit could be the time when you get to talk to other exhibitors you haven't had the chance to get to. So you don't want to be sacking your day off when there's still potential.
Yeah, I mean, a good organiser should be arranging exhibitor meetups beforehand.
Mm.
So that there is, because also if you can build that community beforehand, you know, if you can't get anyone else to man your stand, you know the people there and you're like, hey guys, I just need 5 minutes. Could you just keep an eye on my stand for me? And we're all going to sit there and go, no, absolutely not. I'm just on my own stand. I'm only up for a day. You
Well, I
know,
wasn't going to say, but yeah.
it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, guys.
Yeah, that, and sometimes it's nice to have at least a few friendly faces, you know, when you get there.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up, I'd say. So do you have any upcoming events, expos, others you'd like to plug?
Ooh, thank you very much for the opportunity. So I have the Focus Guru Expo on September the 25th this year, and that's in Macclesfield in Cheshire. But my exhibitors come from all over the place. All over the place. As in fact, my attendees, I had someone fly in from Lithuania last year, which was a bit bizarre, but hey ho. I know.
Wouldn't complain, yeah.
Yeah. So just because it's held in a Cheshire town doesn't mean it's only for Cheshire people, if that makes sense.
Mm.
The other thing is events that I run the Focus on Connections Club, which is a fortnightly hour-long networking session, again in Macclesfield, with a social element at the end. If you want to know more about either of those, you've got my website details, haven't you guys?
Yeah, we'll put your links in the chat, definitely.
Yeah, we'll put everything in the show notes for you.
Cool.
So thank you, Rachel and Karen, for interviewing, obviously. But no, thanks for joining us and answering all things expo and events. So thank you for joining us 3Spoonies on events and expos. We'd love to know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for our weekly podcasts and leave us a review. You can find us on your favourite social media platform, and we'd love it if you would join us in the Business Success Network for Disabled Entrepreneurs Facebook group. If you really like what we do, you can also buy us a coffee as well. All of these links will be in the show notes. We will see you next week for our community questions. Have a great day and keep track of your spoons.